Hey team, hope you guys are doing well. I hope your 2020 is going well, and I'm sure by this point most of you are back to work, back to all of your responsibilities, and so I hope that's going well. Hope you're excited about what the Lord has ahead of you in 2020. This video right here is going to serve as our January newsletter. I'm not actually going to send out a written text document for you. This just is, I'm just going to walk through some things with you and make sure we're all on the same page. One big announcement to start with. Our staff, our worship staff here, we're growing. Here in 2020, we've made an addition to our staff that I'm super excited about. I'm sure most of you by now have heard that we have hired Jessica Hannigan to be one of our associates here on staff. I'm excited about that. She's going to be working with the arm of our worship team that serves in the Next Gen area. So I'm excited about that. This means she's going to be focusing a lot on students, but for the future, we're hoping to integrate more worship with what we're even doing with our school, MCS. And we've got a lot of ideas for the future, a lot of new things you're going to see happen here in the next 12 months because of her coming onto the team. So this is a huge win for all of us. We're super excited, and congratulate her whenever you see her. Okay, so this morning we had the worship staff, we had kind of our 2020 launch meeting. It was an opportunity for us to sit down to talk about everything we've got coming up in 2020, to talk about what our goals are as a team, and to really define the scope of what it is we want to accomplish in the next 12 months. And so I wanted to take an opportunity and to share some of that information with you guys, bring you in on the conversation there, and hopefully help you get excited about where the team is headed these next 12 months. First of all, let me give you a kind of a outline of what we want to talk about here. I want to talk about our mission statement and our core values, because I want to talk about how we've refined those a little bit. I then want to give you a rundown of the 2020 worship nights. I also want to talk about our goals as a team here, what we're trying to accomplish. And then I want to give you some info on a few upcoming events here in the next few weeks that will be important for you to remember. Well, let's jump right into it. First of all, let's talk about our mission and our vision statement here. This is something that we, of course, last fall talked about. We talked about our core values, and those are staying the same. Those aren't changing at all. If you haven't had an opportunity to check that video out, just go over to our YouTube channel and watch the September 4th team night talk. I think that'll be really valuable and really helpful for you there. Beyond that, I do want to review for you what our mission is as a team. Now, the mission we've been operating under the last few years, though we've not communicated it as much as we should. The mission we've operated under is connecting people to the purpose for which they were created. It's a great mission. It's short, it's concise, it's to the point. However, we're going to refine the mission a little bit to make it a little easier, and also to tie it in with the mission of the church. First of all, what's the mission of the church? Well, the mission of First Baptist Maryville is to help people love God, love others, and make disciples. Pretty simple. Love God, love others, and make disciples. So, in conjunction with that, us as a team, us as the worship team, we use music and art to teach people to love God, love others, and make disciples. Pretty simple, right? Well, this is something that we're going to communicate on a regular basis this year, because every weekend as you prepare, whatever your part may be, whether you're a musician in the band, whether you work in the production team behind the scenes, whether you work on the creative team making, pretty things that we show on the screen, whatever it is you're doing, your mission is to use music and art to teach people to love God, love others, and make disciples. I hope that brings some clarity, and I hope it's something that you're excited about and excited to be a part of. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about our 2020 worship nights. Now, if you are signed up for all the emails that we send out, you saw that in today's edition of the weekly, I gave you a rundown of the 2020 worship nights. I'm going to encourage you to go earmark that email so you have that in one spot, but I'll give you a quick walkthrough of what we have planned for all of those. First of all, our first worship night of 2020 is going to be in about 7 weeks. It'll be on Sunday, March 1st, of course, 2020. It'll be 6 o'clock p.m. in the chapel. Make sure you've got that earmarked. We're going to be focusing on Lent during that worship night. The second worship night will be May 3rd, also 6 p.m. in the chapel. And then this summer, we're going to, you might remember last summer, we did a worship night on a Saturday night in Fireman's Park. And that was a great worship night, had a good turnout, lots of energy, and was just a great opportunity to connect with the community. We want to do something like that again. However, July 20th of 2019 was a very hot day. It took a lot of hydration and fans and everything to make that evening happen. And so while we do want to do something in the community and connect with the community, what we're talking about doing is having this year's July worship night, instead of it being outside, moving it to an inside venue. And we're looking right now at the Wildey Theater. We still have to go through, all the hoops to make sure it's available and see kind of how that would work. But right now we're looking at July 18th of 2020 doing a worship night at the Wildey Theater. The next 3 worship nights will take place in the fall then. We'll do one on September 13th, one on November 8th, which is also a Sunday night. Both of those are Sunday nights. And then we'll do our Christmas worship night on Sunday night, December 6th. That'll be 6 o'clock p.m. in the worship center, not the chapel. One other thing I want to mention about worship nights, with Jessica coming on staff here, what we're talking about for one of the fall worship nights is having that be a completely student-led worship night in the student center. We're looking at schedules right now to kind of see when that would work best for the students to lead that, but it'll either be the September 13th one or the November 8th one. I want you to earmark that worship night, because I would love for our whole team to come out and to support the students as they're leading and as they are teaching us to sing and leading us in worship. So make sure all of those dates are on your calendar and make worship night a priority this year. Worship nights are a high-level strategy here. We believe that God has called us to teach our people how to sing and to lead them in that singing. We believe that whenever people sing, their minds and their hearts are transformed, that their minds are renewed, and that their wills are conformed to that of the Lord's. And so we use these worship nights as an opportunity to teach our church how to sing and how to engage well with the Lord. And the last thing that I want to talk to you about are our team goals for 2020. And there's just one that I want to throw out there to you guys to get your help with, because I think that there's a role that you could play in it from time to time. I'm giving the staff here the goal this year of developing a system that generates 5 new prospects for the worship team every single month. So 60 new worship team prospects a year. Those of you who serve on any part of our team know that there are oftentimes just not enough people to complete all the work that needs to be done in order to have an effective weekend service. And so we're constantly trying to engage new people who can join our family, join our team, and take up this challenge of using music and art to teach people to love God, to love others, and to make disciples. And so one of the ways we've talked about doing this is we need to develop some type of system for attracting people to the team. And that's what we're working on here. Now, the reason I tell you this is because one of our strategies that we're kicking around is to once a month do a donut bar or some type of food bar in the lobby where we give food to the congregation and just promote opportunities on the worship team. And that's something that you can play a part in. If you are passionate about attracting people and recruiting people for the team, this is one simple, small little thing that you could do. We're talking about doing this once a month with our team throughout 2020. And of course, there's a lot more planning to do with that, but I wanted to let you guys know so you can think about what kind of role you might be able to play in that endeavor. Okay, and one final bit of information. Here's some upcoming events and some upcoming info you need to know. Number one, this coming Wednesday. This is this coming Wednesday, January 8th. If you're serving on January 12th, which is this next Sunday, you need to know that the Wednesday night rehearsal for January 8th, we're going to be canceled this week. And this is my fault here. The reason we're canceling is because the photo directory project we've got going on is actually taking place in the worship center. That's kind of one of the only spots that they could set up throughout the week where they wouldn't have to tear down, set up every day. So they're only doing one Wednesday night. That's this Wednesday night. And to make room for that, we're going to cancel midweek rehearsal this Wednesday. Now, we'll still have our Saturday night rehearsal or Sunday rehearsal. Those will still be on for. But this Wednesday rehearsal will be canceled, and that should be the last one for a while that we're going to have to take off the calendar. So just make note of that. Those of you who are serving for that service, who would normally be at a Wednesday night rehearsal, I've texted all of you so you know, but just FYI, this is one more spot where this information is being passed on. I also want to tell you about our Easter concert that's coming up on Palm Sunday. Now, those of you, if you were around last Christmas during the fall, you know we were planning a choir concert in the lobby for the Christmas season. And there were a few things that happened with ordering music and getting it here on time that just didn't happen. We had a lot of delays from the publisher getting music here, and so we had to put that off. But we've got things lined up so we can go ahead and have this concert at Easter time, and we're going to do that on Sunday, April 5th. Now, I would love for all of the musicians on our team to be a part of this concert, even if you're not necessarily, if you don't, consider yourself a vocalist or whatever. I would still love for you to make a commitment to be a part of this concert. And here's what we're going to do to make this as easy as possible and to open up your calendar so that this could be possible. We're going to take all of the midweek rehearsals from February 12th through April 1st, and we're going to focus exclusively on the music for the April 5th concert. This means if you're serving any Sundays between, let's see here, I don't know what that next week would be, like February 16th or somewhere around in there, through, April 5th, all of those services will just do same band all weekend for those services. And the midweek rehearsal will be focused exclusively on rehearsing choral music. So you now have a Wednesday night open when you would typically have a rehearsal to come be a part of the choir for Easter. And I want to encourage you to do that. If you have signed up for the Christmas concert and you're planning to sing at Easter, you're good to go. You don't need to do anything else. If you've not signed up, take a look at today's edition of the Weekly. There's a sign-up form in there. Go sign up and come be a part of the Easter choral concert. Well, I know that's a lot of information. I appreciate you watching this video to the end, but that's everything you need to know thus far for January. For February, we'll be back on our regular monthly newsletter setup, so you can expect that in your email inbox around February 1st. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll see most of you this coming weekend.